Welcome to The Excellent Way, a podcast where we have conversations about reframing the way you train, the way you eat, the way you sleep, and the way you think so that you can build the health you've always wanted so that you can live excellent. What is up, guys? Welcome back to The Excellent Way. I'm Coach B. Thanks for joining me on this new episode of The Excellent Way. We took March off because we just got through the CrossFit Open. And if you've not experienced the CrossFit Open, you should absolutely take an opportunity next year. It's usually the end of February, beginning of March, to go check out the CrossFit Open at a CrossFit gym. It is a ton of fun. Now, that's actually why we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about today. During the CrossFit Open, we encourage our members to invite family members to come and cheer them on during their workouts. We do 3 workouts. Those workouts are kind of like tests to see where is your fitness at. Do you have the capacity to do these things? But you bring your family and your friends in who aren't CrossFitters yet, and they're there to cheer you on and just kind of experience the community and the culture and all of that stuff like that. That is CrossFit, right? And I got to have conversations during those 3 weeks with folks who, they work out, but they work out by themselves, and it's kind of on and off, and it's kind of wishy-washy because they're either like working out at home, maybe in their basement or their garage, or they joined like a local like Globo gym or one of the big chain Globo gyms. And they go sometimes, and then sometimes they don't, and then they go for a couple of weeks, and then they stop going for a couple of months, and there's just no consistency in what they do. And some of the things that I talk to them about are the things that I want to talk to you guys about. As far as, hey, as they're talking to me, I said, hey, you should come try us out. I think that CrossFit can solve some of those problems that you're having working out by yourself. And so if you're on the fence about joining a CrossFit gym, this is the episode for you. So we're going to talk about the 5 reasons why I think if you're on the fence, this should tip you over to at least give CrossFit a shot, okay? And number 1 is right at the top of the list, this idea of isolation. The isolation with a traditional gym or working out in your own home is, it's nice, it's convenient. You can have those days where you just kind of put your headphones in and block out the world and get a little like sweat on, and that's all good. But here's the thing. Those things are done. They're designed to be in isolation, right? You get on a treadmill and you're just going, you're cruising by yourself. You're on like the circuit machines, or maybe you're over like, on the free weights doing some stuff, and you're doing your sets and reps, and, you're getting your work in, which is better than nothing. In fact, it's really very good for you. But being in isolation like that, especially when you're trying to do something really hard, can be very difficult. And so CrossFit says, hey, instead of doing this in isolation, why don't we do this in a group? And so that group setting, gives you a little bit more energy. There's some camaraderie, there's some connection, there's some friendly competition, and you're around people who want to do the same thing and continue moving forward. So if you're working out by yourself, it's really easy to fall off. Why? Because things get boring, and if you fall off, there's nobody there that's really gonna like hold you accountable to that. Like if you stop going to your local like chain Globo gym, like nobody notices that you're gone. And so that's kind of a bummer. Or if you're working out at home, like the only person that might recognize that you're not working out anymore is maybe your roommate or your spouse, but that's not enough motivation to keep going, at least not for most people. So going and doing that by yourself, while good, it's easier to fail and slide off and never end up going back. And then you wonder why, like, oh my gosh, I used to be in such good shape. How come I'm not in shape? Oh, I'm not going to the gym anymore. And then you start thinking, oh, I should go back to the gym. But there's no real motivation to go and do that. Why? Because even if you like working out alone, the feeling of being alone can often be a deterrent to keep going to the gym. Which brings us to reason number 2. If you're on the fence about trying a CrossFit gym, CrossFit flips that isolation model on its head. All of those things in a normal gym or working out by yourself at home are designed to be done alone. They're designed to be done by yourself. A CrossFit gym says, hey, no. We're not doing anything by ourselves. We're going to do this in community. We're going to do this as a group. And oftentimes, when you talk to people about CrossFit community, the culture of CrossFit is often served up as a benefit to CrossFit. When in reality, community and culture inside of a CrossFit gym is actually part of the infrastructure. It's baked into the cake of what makes CrossFit. It's having that community of people around you is the mechanism for staying with your gym long term. Why? Because human beings are relational. Even if you're somebody who's like, dude, I can't stand people. I get that. Like, you get burned out on people, especially if you're somebody who is a very people-facing person at work. You can definitely get burned out on personal interactions like that. But in a community, in a gym, man, is it different. It's the reason it's different is because, number one, the people who you're coming to the gym with, they all know your name. In fact, one of the things that we built into our business plan when we started our gym back in 2012 in our garage in Thornton was we wanted to build gyms that felt like Cheers. And if you've never watched Cheers, you should definitely go and watch that show. Get on Amazon Prime or whatever. Go watch the show Cheers. And what we're talking about is when you walk in the door, I'm going to say your name. I'm going to say hi. I'm going to tell you I'm glad you're there. And you're going to be a part of this community now who sees you and recognizes you. And they're happy you're here, which is a huge shift from either working out by yourself in your basement or going to a large Globo gym. Like, maybe the front desk person and maybe one or two people in that gym will recognize that you're there and they can give you the nod like, hey, how's it going? Right? But at a CrossFit gym, people know your name and they start to get to know your story and they start to understand like what's going on in your family and they start to find out what you do for a living and what you like to do for recreation. And like you become this part of this community of people who want to see you succeed, and because of that, they're cheering you on. And part of cheering you on is like knowing if you're having a hard day. And if you're not in community with people, it's hard for anybody to know, are you having a good day or a hard day? Or like, did you just get a new job? Or like, are your parents aging and sick and you're dealing with that and that's stressful? And like having people to lean on is a huge part of long-term success when you're doing something like working out, because working out can often be hard, but done in a group of people or with a group of people who are willing to do the same kind of hard as you, man, it really flips on its head this idea of you just have to go and get your workout in, because now you're surrounded by people who are walking through all of those good and hard things in life with you. It's awesome. It really changes the vibe and it changes how you approach and how you feel about your daily workouts, right? So not only does CrossFit solve that problem of designed isolation, but also its community is a part of the infrastructure of CrossFit. So it's kind of like two sides of the same coin, but it's definitely solving two problems at once. Now, what's the next problem is kind of along that lines of if you're going to the gym by yourself, the workouts themselves, like maybe you have an app that designs really cool workouts, or maybe you're working with like an online personal trainer and you've got some workouts designed for you. But again, those workouts are designed to be done in isolation, number one. And number two, the workouts that are typically designed for a Globo gym are very monotonous. They're kind of the same thing day in and day out, right? It's chest and tries and back and bis and leg day and ab day and maybe some cardio sprinkled in, but it's kind of the same like circuit of lifts all the time. And so you're kind of doing the same thing all the time. And like every like 6 to 12 weeks, maybe you change some things up. So it can get really boring really quick. And one of the things that we've learned about the human mind is variance is very stimulating to our mind. it helps us stay engaged. When something is novel, we're a little more engaged in it. Even if you're somebody who's like, I don't do with new things or change very well, the novelty of CrossFit does help you stay engaged because it's familiar enough movement packaged in a different enough way that it's novel. And so not only do you not have to worry about, I don't know what I'm going to do when I go to the gym today, right? If you go to a normal gym, it's like I either kind of have to make it up as I go, or like maybe I'm following this thing I saw online or on Instagram, or maybe I've got an app and it's kind of telling me what to do, but I don't really know what I'm doing because I don't know if I'm doing it right because nobody's teaching me to do it right and I might be doing it wrong. And so you have a coach in a class that, those CrossFit gyms are writing those workouts out for you so you don't have to worry about what am I doing? Okay, that's solved. And also CrossFit in and of itself has variance, again, baked into the cake of what it is. So it keeps it novel enough that it's stimulating, but familiar enough that we can feel confident that we know what we're doing. And that's the difference between variance and randomness. A lot of people look at CrossFit and they think, CrossFit's so random. It's not random. There is intentional planned variance to the way we structure workouts over the course of a week or a month or a year. So that problem kind of gets solved as a part of what CrossFit is. Now, that's number 3. Number 4 is this idea of scaling, right? When you come to a CrossFit class, you've got a coach that's there to say, hey, here's today's workout. And also, if you can't do any of these things, or maybe you can't do one of these things, here's how you're going to scale that to your own ability. One of the things that we talk about a lot with people when they first start is obviously we talk about goals, and inevitably, if I had to guess, it's probably like 70 to 80% of the conversations we have with folks new to CrossFit is, I'd really like to do just like one real pull-up without like help from one of those like assisted pull-up machines. Like I just want to do one real pull-up. Okay, we can work that direction. And so one of the things we're going to do is we're going to teach you all of these different ways to scale a pull-up to your ability so that over time you can build the strength to eventually one day do a pull-up and then turn that 1 into 3 and then into 5 and then into 10 and 20 and 30 because you took the time to at first scale to where your ability was at. And a lot of times when you're like, I don't know how to scale a pull-up, I don't know how to scale this, that, or the other movement, or am I even doing this right? There's a coach there to help you walk through that and make sure that you are doing that appropriate for your ability level. And then the last thing, guys, is the reason we all go to a gym is to get results, right? I want to feel the way I think fit people feel. Like when we look at a magazine, we look at those fitness models or we see all the fitness influencers online, what we don't realize is what our brain is chasing is that look has a feeling associated. And I want to feel what that look feels like, if that makes sense. So that's what we're all chasing, right? We're chasing that feeling and that what we think that look will provide. One of the cool things about CrossFit is that it not only delivers on results long term, but it's also measurable and observable. Why? Because in CrossFit, one of the things that we do on a regular basis is we track our workouts. Some gyms are old school and they have you just get a notebook and track everything in a notebook. But a lot of gyms now have moved to apps that help you track all of that stuff so that over time you can see how you've grown from a strength perspective or an ability perspective. And then also, like, of course, we all want to, when you join a gym, most of us join a gym because we want to lose a little weight and look a little nicer in our clothes and maybe look a little nicer when we're looking in the mirror before we get in the shower, if you know what I mean. We want that feeling. We want to feel good and confident about those things. And CrossFit delivers on results over time because you can actually look back and see it, right? I call it the cookie jar. When you first join a CrossFit gym, we talk about this. In fact, during the Open, this came up. During the CrossFit Open, we had 9 people get their first ever pull-up. And it's like, hey, how long have you been working for that feeling right there? Well, I started in the gym about 2 years ago, and I've been kind of working towards it since. And like, I've been being really like diligent about my diet, and I've been trying to make things harder when I do the pull-up type workouts and different things like that. And then finally today it pays off. And that feeling of accomplishment, oh my gosh, it's euphoric to know that all the work that I've put in to this point finally delivered on the results and gave me that feeling of success. Well, here's the thing. You don't recognize it until you get there, but all that work that you do along the way, all those little milestones, all those little celebrations of, okay, I was able to lift a little bit more weight here, and I lost, 2 more pounds on the scale over the last 2 months. And all these little things that you do add up to an observable result that you can look back and go, I did all this work to get here. And now I can be proud of not just the result, but proud of the work that got me there. And the cool thing about this, guys, is all 5 of those things, right? Solving the problem of isolation, creating community as a part of the gym, giving you variance and structure in your workouts, scaling to where you need to scale. All of those things combine into long-term results so that every time you hit a milestone, it's like, cool, I achieved the milestone and I did all this work to get it. Okay, what's the next milestone? Okay, it's over there. Okay, I got 1 pull-up. Now I want to be able to do 5 pull-ups. Well, now I know, like, oh, well, if I just do this work like I did the work before, then I'll get there. And now it becomes this like self-fulfilling prophecy of, hey, I can do those hard things. I just have to be willing to do the work. And guess what? I've got a group of people around me, my coaches and my gym mates, who are cheering me on. And like, if I don't show up to the gym, they notice and they want me to be there and they want me to be successful. Even my gym rival, who like, we're like racing to the same numbers on a barbell, or maybe we're trying to get faster to run or get better at pull-ups or whatever that is. We're like challenging each other and trying to beat each other. It becomes this friendly competition, and like all of a sudden we're all getting better and we're all doing those things and we're all cheering each other on, and it's this perpetual energy engine of constant like achievement of result. And then, okay, let's go get the next challenge. And then we achieve that challenge. Okay, what's the next challenge? Okay, let's go achieve that challenge. And the feeling of always moving forward little by little. And sometimes it's little things, right? It's like, okay, I got an extra 2 pounds on this lift, right? Or maybe, oh dude, hey, I went down a pant size. Like those little milestones add up. And then you look back over a year or 2 years, or somebody like me who's been doing this 15 years, I can look all the way back and say, hey, when I started, I could barely do a single assisted pull-up on one of those assisted pull-up machines. And now I look back on it, and like if a workout has 40, 50, 60, even 100 pull-ups, okay, I can do that. It's going to be hard, but I can do that. But it took time to get there. And the reason I was willing to put in the time is because along the way I had those little achievements, those little cookies I could put in the cookie jar and then pull them out when things got hard. And I've got a group of people around me who are cheering me on and then also challenging me when I'm like not feeling it. The days I'm not feeling it, my coach is going to be there to guide me through that workout, and my community around me is going to be there to cheer me on through those hard days. That it's a huge difference maker coming to a community-based gym like this that checks all those boxes. So if you're on the fence about, should I try CrossFit gym? I don't know. My challenge to you is go to your nearest CrossFit gym and give it 6 months. Commit to being there for 6 months. Connect into that community and just buy in for 6 months. Because here's the thing. If you don't do that, you're going to be in the same place 6 months from now, regardless. But if you allow yourself that opportunity, I'm going to give this 6 months. Okay? What's the worst that can happen? You're in the same place you are 6 months from now. Well, it's the same result as if you don't change anything. But here's the thing. Here's what I know that you don't know. If you try CrossFit for 6 months, I guarantee you in 6 months, you will not be in the same place. Now, I've got 2 of them. I've got one in Thornton. I've got one in Commerce City. And we have created a community of people who, like, I love coming to these gyms because of the people here. It's amazing. And I will continue to do this for a long time. That's what I just said. I've been here for 15 years doing this. And a lot of it has to do with those things. I don't have to do this by myself. I've got great community around me. I've got structured workouts with Variance to challenge me. I've got scaling options when I'm not feeling it. And I can look back over 15 years and see the results. And even as I move forward, I'm still seeing results 15 years later. It's worth it, guys, I promise. So if you're on the fence, reach out. You can comment below in this video and say, hey, where can I get started? And if you don't live in Colorado, if you don't live in Thornton or Commerce City, and you want to know where should I go to a CrossFit gym, help me out. I can't find one near me. Let us know in the comments, and I'll reach out and I'll help you find someplace to go. All right, guys, that is it. Thanks for joining me on The Excellent Way, and we'll see you in the box. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Excellent Way. If you or a loved one need help building your excellent life, reach out to us at www.crossfitelm.com.